Welcome back. I am your assistant teacher, Maya Gudani. So students, today we will discuss a new chapter of civics. The name of the chapter is How the State Government Works. Students, when we think about the state government, so what we think first about MLA, about their work, and about the election commission, their role in electing the MLA, and about the assembly. So students, as per your class, the syllabus is divided as in 6th class, the division of the government is in 6th class, the local government has given in detail. In 7th class, the state government is there in detail, and you will study in 8th class about the central government. So students, in this chapter, what we are going to study, in this chapter we will discuss the functioning or working of the state government, and also we will discuss how are the MLAs elected and what are the role of election commission in electing the MLA, and what are the work of this MLAs, or what are the power that these MLAs can take. And also we will discuss the working of the government. So students, we will discuss these all things in detail, and also we will discuss who forms the government and what are the things that is required to form a government. So students, first we will discuss a story that is given in your book, that who is responsible for that. The village receives very less amount of water, or we can say the shortage of the water, as the people who are living in that place, for their daily requirements, the water they are getting, it is not enough. And also the water they were getting, it was not pure, as the unpure water they were getting. So the people, they were dying with communicable disease, the diarrhea, and as the 15 people were died with this. The people who lost their relatives, who lost their loved ones, they agitated in front of the MLA's house, and they asked for their demand. As they were very furious, so the MLA, he spoke to the people that this issue will be taken to the notice of the government, and the necessary step to be taken by the government, and also the justice will be given to you. So now we will discuss that who is this MLA. So students, who is an MLA? The MLA is, the full form of MLA is Member of Legislative Assembly, or we can say the Member of Vidhan Sabha. The Member of Legislative Assemblies are elected directly by the people through elections. As the number of the Legislative Assemblies can be varies from one state to another on the basis of their population. If the state have the high population, so the member of the Legislative Assembly will be more, and the state having the less population, so the state will have the less member of Legislative Assembly. So students, as these members are known as the elected representatives, as they are elected by the people, and after the election they are known as the Legislative Assemblies, and each state having their own assembly. It means as we are having the 28 states, in present time, how many states are there? 28. It means the 28 states will have their own legislative assembly, and the states are divided into a different constituencies, and these constituencies, one example is given in your book about Himachal Pradesh. In Himachal Pradesh, there are 68 constituencies, and from each constituencies, the people, they elect their representatives, and these representatives are known as the MLA. So students, they elect these representatives for the 5 years. And as we have discussed that the number of the legislative assemblies are based on the place where there will be the high population. So the number of the legislative assembly will be more. Where there will be the less population, so the number of the legislative assembly will be less. So here is an example. The Mizoram, Goa or Nagaland or Sikkim are the states having the less population. So the minimum number of the legislative assembly can be the 60 or the maximum number can be 500. And there is one more house, and these house can be in some of the states. And this is known as the Vidhan Parshad, and also we can say the member of Legislative Council. The state having only the one house is known as the unicameral, and the state having the both of the houses means member of Legislative Assembly and the Vidhan Parshad or the Vidhan Sabha known as the bicameral. The state having the bicameral legislatures are the Karnataka, Bihar, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, where we have the both of the houses like member of Legislative Assembly and the member of Legislative Council. So students, now we will discuss the process of being an MLA, how the person can be a MLA and what is the process, by what process is to be followed. So students, let's discuss how MLAs are elected. MLAs are elected as there is a vital role of the election commission here. The election commission, his duty is first he issue a list of the people who are eligible or who are 18 above. They can cast their vote, or it is written in Article 326. And also the election commission duty is there to schedule an election, on which date or what time the election will be, and the people start nominating their name. As these people, they are the candidates of any of the party, and this party is known as the political party. What is the meaning of the political party here? The political party means the group of the people belonging and they believe in the same ideology or within the government is known as the political party. As this political party, later on they do the campaign in the state so that the people get know that who the candidates are going to elect, and later on the people they cast their vote. By this process they elect the MLA, and this is the process of electing the MLAs. Students, just we have discussed the process of electing the MLAs. So students, how do people who are MLAs become minister or chief minister? After being the MLAs, how these MLAs they become the minister or chief minister, here we will discuss. So students, as we discussed the political party, what is the political party? As I have told you, the group of the people having the same ideology and within the government is known as the political party. So first the political party, they nominate their candidate, and when the MLA won, so who will make the government? Half the number of the constituencies. For example, in your book, the Himachal Pradesh example is given where there are 68 constituencies, and the party who will make the government needed a 34 seat to make the government. Means if the party will come with 34 seats, so the party will be in majority, so the party can make the government. But by the Bharatiya Janata Party, 44 seats were taken by their candidates, and the Bharatiya Janata Party was in majority and made their government in Himachal Pradesh. So when any of the party who get the who be in a majority, so that party is known as the ruling party, and later on after the election when they become the MLAs. So now there is a question that who will become the chief minister, or we can say the leader of the party. So the leader of the majority party who enjoys the confidence of the state assembly is appointed as the chief minister by the governor, and the chief minister along the governor, they appoints the other minister. So like this they run the government. So students, so we can say that the state having the MLAs, and the state is divided into a different constituencies, and the constituencies are run by the ruling party, or we can say by the MLAs. So students, our new topic is a debate in legislative assembly. Just we have discussed that the process of electing the MLAs, the chief minister or the minister, apart from knowing the elections or the electing these members, we must know that what these people do in the legislative assembly. The MLAs who are elected as a legislative assembly, or we can say that they are the member of the legislative assembly, what they do in assembly, they debate, discussion on various issues. So here the opposition party plays a vital important role. Who is opposition party? The second largest majority party, okay, and the party who is not the part of the ruling party is known as the opposition party. So what is the work of the opposition party? See, the opposition party it monitors the functioning of the government and do not allow them to misuse their power, and also they do not allow the government to be dictatorial, and also they highlight some of the issues in front of the government so that the public opinion can be generated. So here we will discuss that how these opposition party, they are highlighting the issues in front of the government and asking the question. So here we have a discussion in the assembly. So they are discussing on the topic of water shortage, as we have discussed first, that the first MLA who stood, and he was talking about the Akhandgaon, okay, where he is saying that the 15 deaths are due to the diarrhea, and he's asking the health minister to take immediate actions, okay. And the second MLA who is asking that why are the government hospital in such conditions, why the government is not appointing the proper doctors and the sufficient staff in their state, in their district, and how the government will deal with this epidemic. What are the steps they are taking to deal with this epidemic? The third MLA who stood and said that in my village, Tolpatti, the shortage of water is there. The women, they have to run 3-4 kilometers to bring the water to their village. So they are asking the government, so see how many tankers have been put into service to supply the water, and how many wells and ponds have been cleaned and disinfected. So the fourth MLA who stood, and he is not from the opposition party, but he is a member of the ruling party. He is saying that my colleagues, they are exaggerating the thing, as they are just being so panic, but situation is not that. Means the steps are taken by the government, and water takes to have to put into the water tanks. The water tanks have been put to the service, and ORS has been distributed to the people, and every possible steps are to be taken by the government. And the fifth MLA stood and said, we have very poor facilities in the hospitals. There are no doctors, no medical staff have been appointed from few years, and the doctors which are there, they are on leave, and the situation have become back to wars. So they asked the government that how we are going to ensure that all the RSS packets reach all families in affected areas. So the 6 MLAs stood and said that the opposition party blaming the government, as the previous government did not do anything and still we are driving to clear the garbage that are there for years. So we have seen the discussion among the opposition party or the ruling party, where the opposition party, they are putting allegation on the government, and the ruling party, they are defending themselves. See, by this in the assembly that the issues are taken of the public. So students, let's discuss the working of the government. Just we have discussed that the government is responsible for answering the question of opposition party. So the government work is not limited to the legislative assembly, where they discuss or debate on various issues, and the opposition party, they give suggestion and they ask for their demand. And in your area, you will find that there are newspaper or the TV channels or many of the organization, they are regularly talking about the government. And there are various ways in the democratic country where the people can they can raise their voice and they are asked for their demand. So after discussing this matter in assembly, the health minister, they organized a press conference where along with the other minister, they responded the answers of the these news channel peoples. As these peoples, these conference people, they are from different news channels, as they had a huge discussion, and this discussion was later on reported to the newspaper, and in one newspaper, in one page, it was written what was reported. See, as the chief minister along with the health minister, they visited to the Patlapuram village, and they went to the family where the family lost their loved ones, and they also went to the hospitals, and they also announced the compensation for the people who lost their life. And as the minister, they thought that it is not the matter of shortage of that water, but it is the matter of unclean water that the people are getting. So he said that there will be the high level committee will be appointed, and the people will get sufficient water. So the government performs various functions. See, what is the work of a government here? As the government who is responsible for answering the question of the people, representatives, okay, they are answerable function. As the government who is responsible for answering the question of the opposition party also, and the newspaper or the social media also, it is because it is all about the opinion of the people that people want. And how the government work, that it works with the various ways, like various department, with the help of various department like health department, education department, and other departments. So in this way, the government who look into the matter and solve the matter, and as he have the power of democracy. Democracy means where all the powers are rested in the hands of people. So the government is responsible for taking care of the people, for their demand and for their care.